One word to describe NXT TakeOver tonight, and that word is awesome. I must admit, I had a real blast watching this show for the full 2 hours. There was some pretty good matches on there, and just a generally very enjoyable 2 hours of wrestling to watch. If you are watching TNA Impact Wrestling on Spike TV, then shame on you, brother, is all I can say. If you have any thoughts on this show, please let me know down in the comment section below. As you can probably imagine, this is going to be a very, very positive NXT review. So if you didn't like this show, however many people there are that didn't, then this review is probably not going to be for you. Before I go into reviewing the actual show itself, one thing I cannot stress enough that the WWE always has seemed to do very well over the years is the great production that we had on this, NXT TakeOver show. From the way the pre-show was done, to the video packages, to how they did the video packages for each individual character. It really helped people, that may not have been watching the NXT shows get into some of these characters and maybe get into some of these feuds a little bit more. So there, I give WWE another 10 claps in the way they did their production. Sometimes to make a show feel like a big show, the production needs to be done incredibly well, and that is something the WWE, like I said, seems to always excel in. Even if the show is bad, they always seem to excel in the production. And what a way to transition from the pre-show to the actual special show itself, TakeOver, with Adam Rose making his entrance from outside the Full Sail University from the Exotic Express and going dancing with his entourage, with his lollipop in his mouth and with his megaphone into the arena itself to face Camacho. I just had such a blast watching this match, and, not just watching this match, but listening to the crowd and the chants they were doing, throughout this match. Why can't we get more crowd reactions like this on Raw for the Adam Rose character? I've been hearing a lot through the grapevine that apparently reactions for Adam Rose ain't that good. But listening to the crowd in this match, you'd have thought this guy was the most over thing since Hulk Hogan. You really would, and it really came as no surprise that Adam Rose won this match. I mean, Camacho really is going nowhere as a character. Adam Rose is on the rise as a character, going straight from NXT to Raw and SmackDown. Great way to open the show. Not great technically, but sometimes it's more about getting you into the show, getting your interest level started, and more importantly, just making you enjoy the start of a show to get you into the rest of it. It's just a shame my enjoyment couldn't continue with this next match. A match which I really didn't care about too much going in due to pretty much minimal build, uncredible contenders, and to me, it just felt like another Ascension jobber match that they have every single time they're on NXT, especially on the TV shows. And that was the Ascension versus El Local and Kalisto, the masked luchadors, so to speak, for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Was anyone else surprised that El Local and Kalisto got no reaction? You kind of have Kalisto doing that luchador, or whatever, and the crowd ain't really going along with it. I found that kind of funny. Eventually, he did give up. But the crowd soon livened up for this match, but it was mainly thanks to the Ascension, who the crowd just seemed to be so into. Not sure why, as they're a heel tag team, but the crowd seems to be into the Ascension. That can only be a good thing. But like I said, I really couldn't get into this match, for the reasons that I stated before. And once again, no surprise, the attention retained. I guess if nothing else, the match was booked exactly how it should have been booked, with the Ascension, dominating most of the match. El Local and Kalisto getting some hope spots in there, and the Ascension essentially ending the match with their typical finisher they would usually do. So it was booked as if the Ascension were dominant, and El Local and Kalisto weren't really credible contenders. So at least I can sit there and say that the booking actually was done correctly here. Either I don't pay very much attention every Thursday in NXT, or NXT decided to change everyone's damn music in the show. That's the way it felt to me. It was a very interesting music change for Sami Zayn. You'd think they'd want to play to the Olay chant that is getting very over and maybe have his music match up with that to sort of match his character. But they don't really do that. They had some house beat, which I thought was kind of weird. And you look opposed to that, Tyler Breeze's music just suited him incredibly well. The old music was very good, and I felt that suited him incredibly well, and that suited the character incredibly well. But this music suits the character just as well, in my opinion. We had Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze for the #1 contendership for the NXT Championship. Not really too much story going into this match. The video package was really more focused on the characters. And I believe this match and the way it came out was really for the benefit of both the characters in this match, despite there not really being too much of a feud there and really being too much heat apart from what happened in that Triple Threat #1 contendership match. a couple of weeks ago on NXT. This match itself, I thought, as I kind of expected with Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze, this match was pretty good. Maybe it started getting a little bit too ROH with all the kickouts towards the end. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. But the match turned out to be pretty good in my opinion. And the way the finish was done as well, Tyler Breeze beating Sami Zayn after protecting himself in the corner, which caused an inadvertent low blow. It makes sense for both characters here that Tyler Breeze won via this way. It's a heel method of Tyler Breeze winning. It doesn't exactly make Sami Zayn look weak because he got low blowed. Tyler Breeze, on one hand, his character needed some legitimacy, especially if he's going to be the #1 contender going against Adrian Neville. And Sami Zayn losing still continues this storyline he's going through, where he's working through these roadblocks to try and get to the pinnacle of NXT, which is where Adrian Neville is at right now. So I felt the way this match played out, it was a good match, and I felt the way this match played out really suited both the characters involved, which was totally fine with me. The only issue I had with it is the fact that there was quite a lot of ROH-style kickouts, in the last 5 minutes of the match. That's the only thing I really had an issue with in this match. So we were graced on NXT TakeOver with an appearance from Lana and Alexander Rusev. Lana talking about how Vladimir Putin has got it right in the nation of Russia and how his influence is spreading all across Europe. And then we got Rusev clobbering Mojo Rawley in a Russia versus USA feud for the ages, I'm really surprised with the way they've been booking Mojo Rawley lately. The Mojo Rawley didn't even get any offense in here. It's just Rusev just clobbers him. Rusev puts the accolade on him a couple of times. And, Russia prevails over American patriotism in this segment, I guess. But, it made Rusev look incredibly strong. But I was very, very surprised that Mojo Rawley, didn't at least get a little bit of offense in, considering how high I believe WWE and NXT in particular are on this guy right now. But it was a segment of, with there being so many matches on this show, sometimes you need to break the monotony of a match with a segment. And I think this did a decent job in, getting, Rusev, special appearance on the show, I guess. And, in some way, even though we got beat down, Mojo Rawley on the show, who is a kind of big deal in NXT, in my opinion. Well, the people backstage seem to think so. So before we got to the NXT Women's Championship match, we had Paige coming out rocking some fine-ass jeans to give her thank you speech to the NXT universe. And I've got to go back to those jeans. Oh, Paige was looking so hot in those jeans. I cannot put words on those jeans. I don't know what it is about Paige in jeans, but that did something for me tonight. That did. I'm just saying, guys, it did. We had Natalya with Bret Hart versus Charlotte, with Ric Flair for the NXT Women's Championship. But you know what? They pretty much just made this into a family feud. The Harts versus the Flairs. And I guess if you're going to try and sell this to casual audiences especially, and, diehard wrestling fans as well, who know a little bit about the history between Ric Flair and, Bret Hart and, their lineages, etc. This was probably the best way to sell this match, because there wasn't really too much going into it. It was just, it was just the final of a tournament, but at least they went out of their way in the pre-show and via video packages to add a little bit of story to this match, which helped the match quite a lot, in my opinion. And this match itself, it was a damn good women's match. I was surprised this got a lot of time, but this was really good. Arguably, in my opinion, and you can argue this in the comment section below, arguably, in my opinion, the match of the night. Which really just goes to show you how good this match was. It really just goes to show you, A, in my opinion, how good of a wrestler Natalya is, and B, how much Charlotte has improved since I remember first seeing her about a year ago on NXT. She is improving incredible amounts. Having Ric Flair and Bret Hart out there really did add to it. You had Bret Hart not selling anything because he never sells anything. And Ric Flair's reaction to Charlotte winning was priceless. I thought that was brilliant. The match itself, the way that played out, was really good in my opinion. Probably, like I said, probably the match of the night. And, they had the whole thing after the match with the Harts and the Flairs showing respect to each other. Even though Charlotte is supposed to be the top heel on NXT now, she was kind of acting like a babyface. It's one of those occasions, I guess, where, kayfabe kind of breaks. It's a real nice moment, a proud moment for Ric Flair, and a great moment for Charlotte becoming the NXT Women's Champion. Match of the night, you guys decide in the comment section below. All I know is I was really entertained by this match. And I guess it kind of took me by surprise a little bit, you know, compared to the other two matches, which could have been match of the night, which is maybe why I thought it was the best match of the night. Like I said, argue down in the comment section below. Another NXT special where the women's match has been really good, in my opinion. So as we all know, the main event at NXT TakeOver was for the NXT Championship between Adrian Neville, the champion, versus the challenger, Tyson Kidd. You know, they've been doing this storyline with Tyson Kidd that he's trying to use the NXT Championship as a launching pad to get back onto the Raw and SmackDown roster and to try and make some kind of name for himself after failing a little bit and, you know, being very sporadic in the WWE picture over these last couple of years. You know what? You know, a lot of people on the internet, I imagine, would have thought this was going to be the match of the night. And, you know, that's arguable. You know, I still think the Women's Championship match was match of the night. I just found myself getting a lot more emotionally invested in this. That's not really taking away from this match, which is still very good, and the Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze match. But the Women's Championship match just had that little extra something for me. You know, Adrian Neville versus Tyson Kidd was exactly the main event I was expecting it to be, but especially between two wrestlers as technically gifted as both of these guys. You know, you had some very innovative high spots in there. You know, there was a decent story told in the ring, especially on the part of Tyson Kidd, whose reactions and facials and the way he was generally going about his business really did, you know, set up that, you know, what was going to happen post-match, which I'll go on to in a minute. And, you know, overall, Adrian Neville getting the win here, you know, it wasn't really too surprising. I didn't really see any reason for them to put the title on Tyson Kidd. It was just a satisfying main event to end a really good show. It ended the show definitely on a high note. And, you know, it was going to take a lot to follow that Women's Championship match. But they did a decent job following it. And it was still a very good match, in my opinion. You know, I really don't have too much to say about the match itself because I kind of expected it to be good. You expect Adrian Neville, a.k.a. Pac from the independent scene, and Tyson Kidd, who trained for many, many years in the Heart Dungeon. You expect these guys to have a good match, so I can't really say too much about it. As for the post-match, though, you know, I think NXT have been leading to this a little bit. I wondered if they were going to go there with a heel turn with Tyson Kidd, and I suppose, you know, with just losing to Adrian Neville and the frustration of not really, you know, getting the title and you know, having his launch pad to the main WWE roster. I suppose at the end of the day, you know, Tyson Kidd, this is something new for him. You know, he's been a heel before, but he's never really been that much of a legitimate heel. But in the circumstances, on the way his character has been built up, being desperate, etc., this fitted his character. You know, it really did. You know, and he's been showing signs of depression, etc. So this heel turn, in my opinion, made sense. You know, they could have gone there with the whole, you know, I respect you stuff. But you know what? This is just better. You know, the whole respect you stuff has been done to death, and, you know, it's a bit too ROH for my liking. I like to see these feuds have a little bit of heat in them sometimes, and this, you know, if they're going to have some kind of rematch down the line, maybe, I don't know, but at least this is something different for Tyson Kidd, and something different for, you know, the main event, you know, of NXT. You know, it wasn't babyface versus babyface here, it was kind of like going towards heel Tyson Kidd and babyface Adrian Neville, which, you know, could actually work better if Tyson Kidd is actually a heel. So, like I said, I thought this NXT TakeOver show was really good. We had some real top-notch wrestling on this show. An incredibly good women's match, a very fun opener, a nice breakup segment between, you know, Rusev and Mojo Rawley to get some heat on Rusev. Not that he needs heat, especially with, you know, Lana, you know, pretty much, you know, commercializing Vladimir Putin, who we know everyone fucking seems to hate, apart from the Russians, especially in Europe. So, like I said, this show, in my opinion, was very enjoyable. I enjoyed watching this show for the full 2 hours. If you guys have any opinions on this show, whether they differ or the same as mine, please let me know down in the comment section below. I hope I didn't oversell this show too much. But like I said, if you were watching Impact Wrestling in this first hour, then shame on you, brother.